Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to bring to the virtual stage the cast of Cabin Fever, y'all. Make some noise. She played Kern, Jordan Ladd. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise. Let me see all those emojis. Make it happen. Make it happen. She played Marcy. Let's hear it from Miss Cerina Vincent. Hey! With the Cabin Fever tea. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. He was the lovable Bert. Let's hear it for James DeBello. Hey! And last but certainly not least, Jeff, the mind of it all. Let's hear it for Joey Kern. Yo, there he is. There he is. Why, hello, hello, hello. How are you beautiful people doing today? You guys doing all right?
Absolutely. Great.
Great.
Stellar.
Good.
Amazing.
Obviously, this is like one of the weirdest years ever. 2020 is one for the books. How has it been treating you guys? Have you guys been able to stay safe and sane through all of the calamity that was this year?
I stopped getting my hair cut.
I mean, but it looks good though. It looks good though.
Samurai bun.
Yeah. Me too. I have also not cut my hair. It's disgusting.
No, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Well, thank you, but it's a lot. There's a lot going on.
I got my hair cut in South Carolina. South Carolina was wide open, so everything was open there. Yeah.
Why were you in South Carolina?
My brother and mother are there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now they're all going to get hounded. Everyone's like, wait, the DeBellos live there? We're going to go there all the time. Jordan, how about you? How has this year been treating you?
I mean, I wasn't exactly sane before, so it suits me.
It kind of works, you know. It's the year of Jordan. I love that. I love that. Okay, so we're here to talk about Cabin Fever, which is literally one of my favorite movies. I'm a horror buff. I love comedy things. So when you put those two things together, like peanut butter and jelly, it is a sandwich that I love. And you all had feature film credits before this. But one of the things that makes this movie so spectacular, kind of great and fantastic, is it's the directorial debut of Eli Roth. And so many people have loved him. I mean, he was a household name in the early aughts. How did you guys get connected to him? I mean, you guys had, a resume. He didn't have nothing at the time. How did you guys get connected there?
I could start. My connection was the casting director was this guy, Joe Adams, and he was the associate casting director on a movie I did called Detroit Rock City. So he brought me in for the role of Bert. Physically speaking, the character description was a lot different.
Okay.
But he thought maybe I could bring something to the role.
What was the description? What was Bert supposed to be?
He was a much bigger man than I was at the time.
Okay.
Now I'm growing into it, but
no, man, I don't know. I was going to tell you earlier, man. You look like you've lost a lot of weight. You look good, man. You look like you've aged well, for sure.
I appreciate it.
Very handsome, Jimmy.
Exactly. Jordan, what about you? How did you get involved?
I just got an audition and I went to some weird dilapidated warehouse where they were having these. I mean, it of itself, this place was it looked like a horror movie in a little teeny office. And I just had a meeting with Eli and the whole team. And we ended up talking about, I think it was Survivor or something.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of those weird things where everything, it was Eli and then everyone in the background sort of, faded.
Right.
We just kind of locked in and saw each other and got each other. And then months went by and I didn't hear a thing about it. But then I ended up on a plane holding hands with and cuddling Jimmy because I was scared to fly after 9/11.
Now, 9/11 is a big deal. As I understand Hidden Stories, the casting of Marcy was affected by 9/11 heavily. Did that happen to you, Cerina?
Wait, I'm not sure exactly what you mean about.
So one of the backstories that I've heard, a sort of legend, is that the casting specifically for Marcy was supposed to happen on 9/11. And so obviously when the attacks happened, there was total chaos and people couldn't get confirmation on the casting call or anything like that. Were you a part of that?
Wow. So no, I wasn't. I didn't know that. That's interesting. The other interesting piece of that is that Marcy has this this little bit in the right before she sleeps with writer's character
Right.
about a plane going down. So, and like that was written before 9/11. So that was interesting. But no, how I heard it is that Eli held auditions for Marcy and hadn't found anyone. And I went to some event for press for Not Another Teen Movie, and he saw like some dumb picture of me on Wire Image or something, and I got an audition. That's how he contacted me, and I sent in a tape. I had to put myself on tape, and that was before we had like iPhones or something, so it was really complicated to do a self-tape back then. It was like on a VHS.
That's right.
Joking. So I sent in a tape, and apparently I did. Like I didn't get it. And he called me and he's like, you don't get it. You don't get what we're doing here. I was like, no, I don't. Like there's a piece of this, like I don't really quite understand the tone. So he like explained like the tone and the feel of everything. And I retaped and then I got the part.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Joey, how about you?
What's that? I went.
No. I was asking Joey how he got involved.
Joey, yeah.
I went to the Marcy auditions and found out that it was cast.
Oh man.
I was in New York City, and Eli had gone to NYU, and he was in the dorm with my brother. He was actually my brother's RA at a New York university. And so Eli introduced my brother to his younger brother, Gabe, and they became really good friends. They were roommates for years. And so I was in New York, and I was doing a lot of theater, Shakespeare and whatnot. And I had done a movie or two, and then Gabe because I was good buddies with Gabe, Eli's brother, and he said, Eli's going to make this movie. You should audition for it. And I think I talked to Eli, and he was like, he said, and I didn't know Eli that well, but he was like, saying, it sounds like you'd be good for it. Can you go on tape? And it was the same kind of thing, like Cerina. It was a VHS. Like I was doing that.
I have to explain what that is for the kids that are watching. They might not know.
Yeah, I was doing that. Sometimes in New York, sending tapes out to LA, and you figure they just kind of got lost in the Mississippi somewhere. They never kind of made it, but. So I got the part that way, and I was kind of like, you guys were all out in LA, and I think a writer was in LA as well, and I came down from New York, and it was.
We had so much fun together.
That's awesome.
I mean, well, I guess unless they all weren't having fun with me, but like it was a special movie. I feel.
I definitely agree. Did you guys have fun shooting this one?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Everybody, like kind of all actors, like especially, when they do when they're early 20s and they all get together and make this like kind of fun movie. I think they all have fun. And we were no exception to that. We had a blast. We all had like cars to drive around in the middle of North Carolina. And it was fun.
Do you guys remember the shed? That guy's shed? Like the first night we were there?
Wait, with the hot tub in it?
With the old school Coca-Cola.
This guy had this incredible shed, and I think he worked at he was friends with Transpo or something, and he worked at maybe the canning factory. And anyway, all his buddies came out, and they were all in coveralls with ZZ Top beards.
Well,
and they got their banjos out, and they were a bluegrass band in their downtime.
I think that was Lauren's cousin, the producer's cousin.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a property where we shot some stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, you got to come afterwards," and we'll have like a hoedown.
That's awesome.
They pulled out the biggest bag of weed you've ever seen.
Wait, that wasn't a prop in the movie? That was actually...
No, it was way bigger than the prop in the movie. It was like a bag of weed. And then they all rolled some joints, and then they said, grab a washboard or you can play the spoons. I mean, so we all kind of jumped in on our own
There was a guy playing, remember there was a cat? And he was playing the drums, but he was playing a cat with wooden spoons. It was the most bizarre.
Stoned cat.
And the moonshine. We shot in North Carolina, by the way.
Oh yes.
And the moonshine. Remember the moonshine that would just show up? Like
The moonshine fairies deliver every night. I mean,
I don't. If this is I think a lot of the people that were playing, I distinctly remember somebody saying that some of them had like doctorates in music, or like they
that's
were
amazing.
exceptionally skilled at the banjo.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. We actually got some questions coming in from some of the fans, so I want to throw this one out. Adam DeFilippi asks, are there any lessons you took away from Cabin Fever that you still hold close to you as actors today? A big one.
Blood, like prop blood.
Yep.
And cold weather do not mix.
Not good times. Not good times.
No.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one to know. Cerina, what about you?
That's a really good question. I have to think about it. What lessons I took? I'm not going to answer the question the way he wants me to, but I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it wasn't my first movie, but like it was a really special experience. And it was unique because we were just all like friends, we all became friends really quickly. And we were just doing this little indie movie that we believed in.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know like anyone was going to love it. And then the world loved it. And it was super exciting. So, I very quickly realized like that doesn't happen with every film you do.
That's true.
It was really unique. Like that's what I took from it. It was special in that way. Like, I think we've all probably done like 25, 30 films after that were not fun and we didn't love everyone and they weren't a huge success.
Also true. Also true. Joey, what about you?
Yeah, one of the things that I took from it was that you kind of have to, the movie that you're making you're making the best movie that you can make right then in that moment. And Eli really knew that. And, like for instance, Bert's hat, like we got that, we saw some band playing and the guy had this hat on that said F you. And Eli thought that's so great. Let's try to get that for Bert. And sorry, Jimmy and you
I said, I need that hat for my character.
That's Bert's hat right there.
Talk to that band and get me that hat.
Sure. But the point is that,
yes.
And I think that like a moment like that where you kind of have to say, and Eli was into like, let's make the best movie we can make right now, and he did. They grabbed that hat. And he was into Jimmy's idea of like. And he wasn't, it was kind of, we all were in the moment and trying to just make what we could make. And I definitely took that as an actor of like, you're not necessarily even trying to make the movie of the script. You're trying to take the script and make this thing together. And then, that's what the movie's going to be.
That's beautifully said. I think some up-and-coming actors can learn that it's not about just what is on the page, but what you bring to it that makes your performance yours. That's brilliant, sir. Thank you.
I think to add to that kind of world, or what Joey said, one thing that Eli did was he assembled a group of people that were unbelievable in their crafts. Like every head of every department was amazing. And everybody was doing it as a labor of love. And when you have that happening, it really helps. It doesn't necessarily make an amazing film. Like you can have all these ingredients and still have a bad dinner, but that really, really helped. Like there was a support team around that really cared about what we were doing and really pushed it over the top.
Very much so. Very much so. That's awesome.
The another thing too is, we shot on film and there was so little time. And so like, we've all shot digitally now for so many years, but it gives you like a certain discipline when you have to leave time to reload the camera, etc. And he would get like 42 setups a day, which was incredible. And they all the shots look beautiful, but we really had to use, between action and cut, and take that really seriously. There was no going in and just deleting or whatever. And we also got there, what was it, like a week before to rehearse? Mm-hmm. So we had kind of built so much chemistry and sort of worked out our kinks so that when we went in and we really just used the time. And if we only had 2 takes, that's all we had. I mean, we'd have to keep moving on. And so I think we all come out of a discipline of shooting on film where it's not so, casual, that the film processing itself costs so much money, and also the time to load it and, et cetera. So
makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And you obviously had a great relationship with Eli because you worked with him a couple more times after this, both in Hostel 2, Grindhouse / Thanksgiving trailer. Is he one of your favorite directors to work with?
I mean, of course. I mean, obviously, he just brings, what it is about him is he brings an element of fun. Like you really feel like you're a kid, like you, but I don't mean that in an undisciplined way. I mean, and I think all of us never let this go. That's why we still do it. It's like when you're a kid, you 100% believe in the circumstances you're in and you're totally committed. And so Eli sets up that environment, but then it still feels like playtime. Mm-hmm. So, he's so great because he just, there isn't like this torture and heaviness, even if we're,
being tortured on the
or whatever,
being tortured on the screen. No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's brilliant. Chance Bartles wants to know, for everyone, what is your favorite genre of film? Horror, comedy, fantasy, or drama, or a combination, as Cabin Fever obviously is. Which one do you like best?
Romantic comedies.
Romantic comedies?
Oh, that's precious.
Notting Hill is my favorite movie.
Hey, that's a good one. Listen, I love rom-coms too, so I'm with you on that one. 2 Weeks Notice is one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's like, is it favorite to watch or favorite to play?
Favorite to be in, though. Favorite to be in.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I can't pick. Like, I love to do it all. Like I've done a romantic comedy, and I'd love to do another one. And I love comedy. But I think we all there's a special place in our hearts for horror. Mm-hmm. So I think as an actor, we love jumping into all kinds of different characters and in all kinds of situations. It's really hard to just pick one.
Well said. Joey, what about you? You look like you're contemplating it really tightly.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Joey's really funny. Really.
Yes.
I really enjoy doing comedy. I've done a couple other horror comedies that are, and I enjoy doing it. Because I think there's with the horror and the comedy, the horror part, you can kind of go farcical with the bodily fluids and stuff, right? and the killing, and I think that's kind of like an extreme that you can't do in normal comedy. But I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't. Theater.
Hey. You take it to the stage, man. I totally understand that. Jordan, what about you? Oh, she might have lost her internet. She was warning us that her internet was a little spotty, so hopefully we'll get her back in here in just a second.
Jordan's like the character from Witches, or he got stuck in the painting.
we gotta wish her back.
That got stuck in the painting. Frozen in time.
Well, while we're waiting for her to come back, John Walkington asked, what was your favorite scene to film for this movie? And Cerina, we'll start with you.
Okay, my favorite scene.
Yes.
Okay, well, I feel like I'm supposed to say the leg shaving scene because it was so, and that scene is special to me, and it jumped out. When I first read the script, I was like, "Holy shit! This is crazy."
Yes,
I want to do this. So that was really complicated to shoot, actually. but so that obviously was a lot of fun because the way they edited it and the music, the sound and all of that, it turned out amazing. But my favorite would be our campfire scene. Oh. It's like one of the scenes that like I really, we shot this movie a long time ago and we all have like a lot of scenes in our head and our own lives in our head. And I just really remember that night. It kind of really felt like we were all sitting around a campfire having a good time. It was that would be my favorite.
I love it.
Dr. Mambo.
The whole story behind that.
Yeah.
I like, it's fun, when you're doing movies, especially when you have a tight schedule, sometimes you have to do second unit stuff. And that's where you have maybe a strip down. It's you, a camera operator. Sometimes you don't even have a sound guy because you're just like, we'll get the sound later. And you don't have any dialogue. Mm-hmm. So it's you and a camera operator and then, a second unit director. So all the stuff that was Bert, like going around and trying to kill a squirrel. We shot that with the producer, Evan Ostrowski, who was also the instantly made last minute second unit director, I guess. And we just ran around the woods for, a day. Sometimes it's like, I got the day off. And then they're like, no.
No, this is working. This is working.
You're going to go out the woods and get some stuff. So then you just, it's you and like two other people and you're like, all right, let's see if we can get something here,
No, that's cool. That's cool. Joey, what about you?
Jordan, you go.
What's your favorite scene?
What am I saying?
What is your favorite scene from this movie?
Shooting.
Oh gosh. I loved seeing all the stuff that I wasn't in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't there for it. Trying to think. I really like the stuff between the three of you, like when you two were boning. Can I say that? You guys are boning down and he's in the window. Like that's so ridiculous. And I don't know. I love that stuff.
This is like a testament to Jordan's character. You are so selfless that you don't even put yourself in the scene was your favorite to shoot.
That is adorable.
I was like,
good question.
How Karen? Like I didn't know if you meant my character or my. Thanks,
Either way. Although since you did bring that scene up, that is literally one of the most progressive scenes. For the way that it ends, who came up with that? I don't want to spoil what happens, but who came up with that?
Well, it was Eli. In the moment, right, Joey?
Wasn't that in the script?
That wasn't in the script.
The very last moment?
The reversal?
The very last moment, he was like, now, Cerina.
Yeah.
Do this. And I was like, what? No. He's like, do it. Action. Go. Action. Do it. And I was like, fuck. Okay. And we just did it once and it was cut back to Jordan talking about being, we were on film. We didn't have time to waste. So I just did what he told me to do. And Joey's character enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's what it like. Seriously, when I say it's like super progressive, as much as, and this is kind of one of those warnings, obviously for those fans that have not watched it or watched it in a while, and you go back, for today's standards, it is maybe problematic. But there are some things in there that are, really kind of progressive, and that is one of them where it is, this traditional horror film love scene, but then it has this flip, and you're like, good on you guys. Like that's pretty dope to just kind of, reach for it like that. I don't mean it like that, but
fun fact, it made it in Playboy's top 10 best sex scenes.
Wow.
Oh.
Hey, that gets a round of applause, y'all. Come on. You gotta recognize that. That's
for having to sit next to my parents during the premiere of it.
Was that awkward? Was that yeah, look, I got paid to do this, Mom. You can't be mad at me. Like, is that one of those weird moments?
You guys got paid?
What I mean, I hope so. I mean, listen, this movie grossed like $30 million in 2003. That's kind of impressive. So hopefully you guys got a decent check off of this one for sure.
No.
No? All right. Well, y'all need some residuals. Come on, Lionsgate.
Yeah.
It
wasn't that bad. Could be worse. What were we talking? Or Jordan was saying about other people's scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to like go have a cigarette and use my phone, but I used the excuse of me dying during the rehearsal period and the script to leave. But I sort of stuck with that, so I never read past Bert's death.
Oh wow!
So I never knew the ending. I didn't know anything.
Oh, seriously?
Until we screened it in Toronto, and I loved it. It was amazing. The deer scene was probably, I laughed out. That was to me the funniest moment of the movie. I don't know why. It just really did it for me. But
it was all the kicking.
Yeah.
It was all the kicking.
Joey's scene was amazing. His last scene in the film. It was good. But I really enjoyed it. So.
I like the stuff too in the convenience store. That's
the beginning and end.
Convenience store, the little market.
Yeah.
That
depends
guy.
on who you're asking.
His writing on his feet. He was so. I think he brought so much authenticity to the movie. And Robert Harris and Cerina and I got to spend some time with him before he died. He's such a lovely guy. But that wasn't. I mean, the script was just maybe like a little bit of a frame for him, but all that stuff about Shirley Temple bottles and Coke and ammonia, and I mean, he just ran with some stuff that was so incredible and so specific to that area.
Yes.
Well,
I absolutely adored his character.
Yeah, old school. I go to a lot of estate sales. It was like Antique Roadshow kind of.
Right. He's got the line that lets you know that this is perhaps a very untraditional horror movie when you ask him about the rifle. And the line that he gives, that's one where I remember when I first watched that and I died laughing. I was like, this is about to be the best movie ever. And people were like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, that was funny. Like, y'all can't imagine how funny it was. And then obviously to see how it plays out. It's very unfortunate that he passed. I got to give him a huge shout out, though. We have the same birthday, which is kind of amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, April 12th. Yeah, we had the same birthday. So I when I tell you guys I'm a fan, I'm not joking. Okay, I
love that, Victor.
Yes.
That's amazing.
You're also an Aries, like Eli. Eli is also an Aries.
That's right. His is the 18th, if I'm not mistaken.
17th.
Is it 17th? Okay.
I don't know. 17th.
We up there. We up there. Yeah, definitely. Aries love. I know. Super fan. That's what I do. Actually, since you brought up the Toronto Film Fest, Joshua Palace wants to know how was it to see Eli's vision realized in an audience or with an audience at the Toronto Film Fest? That screening has to be the stuff of legend. How was that? Because you guys closed out the festival that year, right?
I don't know if we closed out, but it was like, I think it was the biggest sale of the festival, but it was a midnight screening. It was
right.
packed. It was in one of their big theaters downtown. It was really kind of surprising. We were kind of all just there for the ride. It was exciting, and then it was packed. I don't know why. I don't know how they even like hyped it up that much.
That's amazing.
There was a line like wrapped around the town. I remember that. Remember that? There was and it just felt like that. I think that was the moment where we were like, oh wow, maybe this is really good. And Eli was right, because Eli knew the whole time. He was like, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be epic. This is gonna change your lives. Like, this is gonna be huge. And we were all like Joey said, like trying to just be in the moment and do our best in each scene. And
but every director says that.
No.
Single director.
That's part of the director's sale.
But I think that what happened was that they had PR. Like 4 people had seen the movie before that screening. Jeff Dowd, who's like the original, the dude, he like got to Toronto early. He pushed it. I don't know what they did. It was some kind of PR that they got that crowd there. And I think showing the movie to that crowd and the crowd really liking it, not to take anything away from the movie, but how did they get that crowd there? It was, no one who.
What I do know is there was already buzz when we got there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I think it was like a lot of online.
I think what it would be. I think it was
in the blog community.
Cool move.
Ain't it cool? Yeah.
What's his?
That's
Harry
right.
Knowles.
Yeah, Harry Knowles.
Harry Knowles was talking about it a bunch, and he was sort of the go-to like indie horror film guy out of Austin, Texas.
Oh,
and it had a buzz on there.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, this is what it was. Wasn't it this part where Peter Jackson and Quentin Tarantino?
Yes.
That was later.
That was later?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was later. Quentin Tarantino didn't see it until the LA screening.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Because he was at the Q&A, and then he talked to Eli. That's how they...
Right.
We did like an LA premiere at Lemley's.
Yeah.
I think it really was the blog community that was like, really
cool new
so excited about it. I didn't even know what a blog was at the time.
Me either.
Oh, yeah.
Still don't.
I knew all about Harry Knowles. It was like the guy to follow to know if your movie was going to do well.
Very, very much so. Very much so. Okay, so this is a purely fan-based question of my own. Who had the best death scene? And by best, I definitely mean the worst. In your opinion, whose death scene was the worst?
I always thought Cerina's was kind of the worst because you don't see it.
You don't see it at all. You see the aftermath, and woo!
Yeah.
And I think that's what's like usually with horror movies. The ones that you don't see are the ones that are the most gruesome, And for her to like just eaten by that dog, it's just gross.
Yeah, that was pretty. That dog, like I was actually terrified on that run, but I would say. Jordan, like you suffered. By the way, I posted that.
Jordan suffered.
Like there's such a reference to Karen. Sorry, Karen, we just don't want to get it.
Yeah, I'm a Karen.
Right, you're a Karen. When we put you in the shed, like you suffered, and then Paul, writer's character, comes in and beats you with a shovel.
I mean, lovingly, right?
It was a mercy killing. It wasn't a beating.
I know, but still, that's it. You suffered.
I really like Joey's death so much. I mean,
yeah, it was great.
Now, I actually have a fan question for Joey. Did you physicalize all the bullets hitting you, or did you kind of feel that, like where your body sort of? I've never been squib shot, so I don't know.
It was a pretty. They made like a cavity, like a chest plate, and it was made out of. I remember I had to like lay down for it. It was like a plaster with metal in it, and it had like 20 squibs in it, and so I really couldn't feel anything.
Wow!
And
so all of that flailing around was you. It's your talent.
Oh, I can still do it. It was when I went to NYU. The second class we took was squib death.
Wow! Wow!
They would like bump it up. The first semester was just like maybe 4 squibs. Like
20 squibs. That's a lot of death right there.
Like in the shoulder.
Aced it.
Can you do it? Some people never got past like 6 squibs, but I got up.
Is that like an actor's thing? Like, how many squibs can you handle, bro? I did like 6, 7.
20 squibs.
James, what about you?
What was the question?
Best death. Best, worst.
Oh, the best death.
Yes.
I got to press the button on my own death.
You did.
That's pretty cool, right? I was in the room. They had like a dummy set up, and he comes in, and there was like a charge that I got to press.
That's awesome.
The worst death is I'm going with. I mean, Jordan, Karen, she had to live with that for like a week. Like it was a slow burn.
Yes.
So she had to go through serious makeup. And
friendless.
And friendless. You know, nobody would
Lipless
talk to
and
us.
friendless.
Yeah, you had the fire
the
marshal bill
corner.
going on.
We didn't want to get it. You know?
No.
We didn't want to get sick.
That was, oh my goodness.
We were method about it.
Can we talk about how like so very futuristic that is? I mean, how 2020, COVID-19, this kind of movie kind of has like this feel, which is kind of crazy. I mean, you know, the comments, we don't want to get it, you know, Joey's Jeff character walking around with a mask and telling everyone to stay away from him. Like there's so many things. I'm like, what's up? Who's the time traveler? Was it Eli? You guys can tell me.
I remember, Joey, I remember the moment that you like picked up, you had a thing, you're like, I'm going to do this the whole movie. And I just remember like, just as an actor, like watching you like make that choice or at least announce that you were making that choice. And I was like, that's really cool. Cause that wasn't in the script.
Wow.
That was just your choice. Right?
Yeah. I should have had a mask.
I mean, you made it work.
It would have made it a lot easier.
Just have it on all the time.
With like continuity, I'm sure there's parts where you're like,
this mask, he would just talk like this.
Yeah.
But then he was working with just one eye. I mean, it's incredible.
True.
So he was covered here a lot, and then we could only use one peeper.
I would cover it up kind of like this sometimes.
It was like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. Tell that story. Why only one eye?
Well, they didn't take care of me on set, did they?
Uh-oh.
I mean,
like he's friends with the director.
It's true.
Listen, family's the worst, man. Come on.
Yeah. Joey was expendable. They're like, oh, it won't be a problem. If something happens to him, it's okay because, you know, it's family.
It's
you know,
Joey.
Distance.
You have like 3 big problems with your eye, right?
Yeah. 2?
Yeah. The first was we were doing the scene where Ari's breaking into the car, and then I go down to break the window, and one of Eli's amazing crew members, he had put the charges on the door, but I wasn't even sure how this worked. But they like these little charges that would break the glass just as I go to smash it, so that I'm actually not smashing it. But he put the charges like on a 10, and it was supposed to be a 2. So when I went to hit it, the glass just shattered.
Oh my God.
And then talking about like making the movie that you can make at the moment, I had to be rushed to the hospital. And so they're like, okay, let's change it. Writer, you set the guy on fire now. And then,
wow.
Then I spent the night getting my eyes checked. And then they were, for continuity's sake, they said, okay, now you have to have, since you were kind of hurt in that scene, we should put blood drops in your eyes for this table scene we had inside. And then the guy that put the blood drops in my eyes, and then he was like, all right, I'm just going to take off for the night. And so he left. Jimmy's crew member left. And then no one said, oh, you need to wash that stuff out. And so I didn't wash it out. So I woke up the next morning, my eyes were swollen shut. And then finally, when all that was kind of remedied, Cerina and I were doing a scene that actually was cut from the movie. But we were having an argument. We have an argument scene, and I was walking out of the door, and some other crew member had put some sort of like shutter on a hinge. And as I opened the door, the shutter went up, and it just nailed me right in the eye. And then I had a really bad black eye with a cut on my face.
Wow.
And my agent back in New York was like, get out of there. What are you doing? Leave this junk. Like
this movie is going to kill you, literally.
I said, the director personally promised me that this was going to change my life.
I gotta stay, man. I gotta stay. Okay. A promise is a promise is a promise.
You have a promissory note.
I remember that scene that Joey was talking about. We had this like big fight scene. We were fighting about whether bread goes in the fridge or it goes on the counter, and like we're this couple that like fucks and fights, and like that's all we do. And like we were yelling and screaming at each other, and he like walked out the door, and and like I heard it hit, and then he never came back, and it was like this moment, and I just remember that moment in between, like wondering if you really got hurt or not, and like you had already been so hurt that anyway, it was a big bummer.
Oh my goodness, that's
we lost Jordy.
That's so dark. I think she's gonna come back. She's gonna come back. We got maybe time for like maybe one or two more questions. While we're waiting for her, though, James, I think it's Wikipedia that blames you or Bert for everything that happens in the movie. Like literally, it says everything that starts to go wrong is all Bert's fault, from stealing the candy bar to shooting at the hermit and leaving him there, Henry the Hermit, and then him obviously seeing you later and freaking out, and that's what causes everything to happen. How do you feel about that? Is it really Bert's fault, or was Bert just a hapless victim of fate and circumstance?
Fiasco, one series of events leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. What was Bert doing on that trip?
I mean, you were the fifth wheel, bro. You were the.
They left him at home.
Yeah, I mean,
or did he like sort of like, leech his way into it? That makes maybe more sense. He was just like, "All right, I'm ready to go," and they're like, it's a couple's trip in a cabin. Like,
he's like, "I know."
Take him.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm here to shoot squirrels."
They never really. What was the bedroom situation there? Was Bert on the couch? Because that would really, tie it all together. Like it was
they don't really say.
Damage. They don't. It's not in there.
Right.
I think he might have been on the couch.
That's funny.
I think so.
Yeah, he definitely was on the couch.
Well, and it's hard to say that it was a true couples retreat because Paul and Karen weren't quite together yet.
Yeah.
He had intentions, but they weren't quite a thing. Which, I will say. I mean, writer's not here, but again, for anyone that's watching this movie for the first time or having seen it in a long time, this movie can be very problematic. There's a scene where consent is not given, and there are consequences. So be forewarned. Again, this was made at a time where it was different forms of storytelling, people. So let's not try to, get all riled up. It was different times.
Oh, that's a really good point, Victor, because I don't think that we could make this movie now. There's so many pieces in it that's just that are just not okay. And it's like really hard. Like it's just a really interesting time, and I'm for all of the reasons why we shouldn't we should stop all of that. But then, like, as an artist, I don't know if I feel that way.
I understand. I definitely understand. But again, I just want to make sure that people know that we're aware of it. It was a time and a place. It was a beautiful, experience. But we do recognize that this is fiction, not the world that we really want to live in these days. So while we are almost out of time, literally, I want to give you guys an opportunity to say goodbye to the fans one last time. So Joey, we'll start with you, and we'll see if Jordan makes her way back in before we get out of here. But Joey, if there's anything that you want to say to the fans before we go?
I just wanted to say, thank you guys for changing my life. This movie, knowing these guys, that's a big part of changing my life. These guys have always been good friends of mine, and thank you to them. But also to this movie definitely helped my career, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. I just wanted to add one little thing that I'm able to donate any of the money that from the signings and the virtual experiences here to a place in Pasadena, California that's called Door of Hope. They're doing really great work with families that are homeless. And I had recently, we have a couple babies, but they're out of their cribs. And so I was able to donate our cribs to them. And they do a lot of work with families right now because a lot of people are struggling. And so just know that any money that comes through me will go to them.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful, Joey.
Cerina, is there anything that you want to share to the fans out there?
Well, just similar to what Joey said, like I'm grateful for the fans. Without you, then we wouldn't be invited to do things like this. And this movie, Cabin Fever, sort of put us all on the map in this horror genre, and horror fans are the best. Yes. The most loyal, the most fun. So I don't know. Just thank you for watching our stuff, and we make it for you, and just super grateful.
Absolutely. James?
Definitely. I mean, it's hard to, sometimes you go to a horror convention, and the joy and camaraderie and the happiness you see on these people's faces, all in the love of the same genre. It's unbelievable. It makes my day more than anything. I'd travel anywhere just to see it. Right now, there's obviously a pandemic going on, and these people can't get together. But luckily enough, people like Wizard World are trying to bring some joy to these people that love a genre and support it. So it's amazing. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so very much. Oh wait, it looks like Jordan. Yay! She's coming back in. Jordan, we are literally wrapping up, so we want to give you an opportunity to say one last thing to the fans.
Me?
Yes.
Oh gosh,
final goodbye or anything like that? It's all right.
I can't believe that happened again. I love the Cabin Fever fans, and I love the Cabin Fever the Cabin Kids. And I'm so thrilled to reunite with everybody, and thank you, Victor, for hosting this.
It's my absolute pleasure.
I love that you're a fan and that you share a birthday with Robert Harris.
Yes,
it's amazing.
I mean, it's how great and small the world is.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for running the panel and everything.
Thank you all. Seriously, thank you all for joining us today. I do got to give a shout out to Colton Classic Podcast. Huge horror fans. They love this movie, so they were integral in bringing us all together. We've got some awesome panels coming up this week. We've got the Magicians coming back. We've got Wiz Quiz coming back. Got a special one with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Hercules: The Legendary Journey. We got Sons of Anarchy coming up. So we got all kinds of amazing things. And obviously, don't forget, fans watching live or watching later on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Check out those paid exclusive experiences like one-on-one private video chats, autographs, custom recorded messages at wizardworldvirtual.com. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics, saying thank you to everyone tuning in today and to this wonderful, beautiful cast. Thank you guys so very much. Till next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Love.
This is John Glover, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Lionel Luther recommends it. Have some fun. Follow your fandom.